Kohala Yahweh Bashem Yabashai Bashem Akakradash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone rule well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors, peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your life may be. And as you can see, here's another interesting find here, and this is in specific, I'm looking at this right up here. And because this is such a sensitive topic, you're just going to have to keep up, all right? I'm not going to say a lot, but we're going to read through some things, and then really that'll just be it. This is just something to bring to all of your attention, because this is just another avenue for Jacob's trouble. There's so many different things that Jacob's trouble is going to encompass, right? And also, but it's always going to be first and foremost, you have, like I did in the video, well, it's still uploading, but you have to dehumanize is one way, and then you have to categorize, it's another way. And sometimes you can do both, dehumanize and categorize, and then you can justify your treatment or mistreatment or maltreatment of whatever group that does not hold, I don't even want to say values, that does not hold up the proposed narrative, right? If you're not contributing to the house of cards, right, to the house of lies, you have to go. So, before we even start, I'm gonna do a shameless reach here, because it says the bill is HR 1007, and I'm gonna say 1 minus 7 is 6, right? And you remember what it did. I had to get that. So you know it always. You remember the number of the name. Here is wisdom, right? What the? Come on, man. There we go. 13 and 18, Revelation. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Right? And you got the whole thing about the 6-pointed star, sixes and sixes, and 6 million things, 6, right? Anyway, so for now, it is for commercial use, but we understand that under Habakkuk 2 and 5, where it tells you he enlarges himself as hell, his soul is not lifted up right in him, right? He cannot keep at home. What goes in that, a nuance in that, is the pushing of boundaries and the abuse of power. And they are known for taking things just too far, right? They did it with our entire nation. It was supposed to be a hammer, and they turned themselves into a jackhammer. Boy, they didn't went industrial. And it's like looking at my phone. And man, that made me lose my train of thought. Good grief. Anyway, let's just, I don't even remember what I was saying. Let me turn this phone over so I don't get distracted. But, alright, let me just pick up somewhere else, because I don't remember what I was saying. So, here's the word. Oh, that's right. It's like the water, watch me, that it starts commercial, right? But how soon will it take till it goes down to individual persons, right? Where they can, anything that you say, and they write these things. Let's see how ambiguous they write these bills, and that could get passed into law. So that way, at any given moment, they can make it fit to where whoever somebody is that isn't contributing to the house of lies, who does not fit the this construct, this failing, fleeting lie of a construct, then you will be on the receiving end of whatever persecution that it is, right? And then the scriptures also do tell you that if you're righteous, you make yourself a prey. Let me see. How is it? There's something like how is it? What does it mean? Isaiah 15 I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, so Isaiah 59 and 15. Let's go to that real quick, and then we'll skim over the bill ever so quickly, but not missing anything. Not missing anything that we need to get. Oh my gosh. 15, bro. Whatever. Okay. Our transgressions are multiplied. 15. Yea, truth, this is Isaiah 59 and 15. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And Yahweh saw it and is displeased, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. And as of right now, it seems like, there may not be any, but, hold fast. Don't worry. Nobody goes unpunished. Nobody. Not even little old us. Whatever we, that's why there's a chastisement that comes for the righteous as well. But it's better to suffer for righteousness' sake. Damn, we need that too. Okay, before we get into it, it's better to suffer for, yeah. 1 Peter 3 and 14. So let's go there. We may have to go up a little bit. For the eyes of the Lord are over the right. Yeah. Actually, we gotta come up a little bit. We'll do 8. We'll do 8. Obviously, the point is in 14, but we're gonna go up. Finally, be ye all of one mind, right? So we remember Yahweh Shai said he was one with the Father, and they are thine are mine. We were supposed to be one with all of that, striving for perfection. Okay, doing what you can do to the best of your ability while you are in this current captivity. All right, being of one mind, having compassion for one another, love as brethren, be pitiful and be courteous, not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that ye, and that is between other fellow believers. Not that you would want to do Jake, an outsider there. You still want to just go about your way. If there's somebody as an outsider, go about your way. Let these people have it. All right. Now, I'm not saying in some extreme instance that if somebody put their hands on you, you don't put your hands right back. Now, that's not what I'm saying. But when it comes to the troubling of the spirit, and you're trying to tell them something, and they just deaf at it, then go about your way. All right. Anyway, let's keep going. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips that speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord are all over the righteous, are over the righteous. So you want to strive for it. All right, somebody that's being watched can be covered. All right, when you got a camera on your house, evil's coming. You can be forewarned of whatever issue is coming. So being watched, all right, over the righteous, strive for it. Good for you, real good for you. Do the body good, and the mind and the spirit. And his ears are open unto their prayers. All right, because the book of John also tells you that the Lord hears not a sinner. All right, now we all go off and we all sin, but there's the difference between you mess up and you're contrite and you do better, or a willful sin where you just do what you want to do when you want to do it because you feel like this ain't even real. Wow, or why the God wouldn't care if I get a MAR cake? Why the God care if I eat shrimp and pork and blah 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 blah? The usual things that you hear people say. But then I also say, but he overlooked slavery. That's the usual ignorance, and we read that. All right, but the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. And who is he that will harm you, if ye be followers of that which is good? It's a very, very important read right there. But if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye, and be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. And that's something that you're gonna have to exercise out of faith and belief, right? To not be afraid, because if you suffer for righteousness, at least you're suffering for a good cause, all right? Instead of to suffer for selfishness or feeding your belly or doing whatever you want to do, and then again suffering because you did that. It's best to get it all out, do it right the first time, get it all out the way, and then be covered in the time of trouble. All right, but sanctify the Lord power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. And the people will, if they don't now, they're going to. Why are you so calm and put together in the midst of chaos? What do you know? What do you know that I don't? Right? Okay, so without further ado, we 10 minutes in and I ain't even opened this thing up. But hey, it's all good, man. Let's get these precepts. Let's get some edification. Let's get some encouragement, right? All right, so let's get this, baby. Whenever you're ready to open. My computer was not this slow. All right, let's see this summary here. Okay, this bill provides statutory authority. So before we even go, let's see, what is statutory authority? All right, let's be thorough. No, that's not what I meant. Statutory. Is it in tort? It might be tort. Let's see. Statutory authority is the legal power granted to a government agency or body by statute, a written law passed by a legislator, to create rules, enforce laws, and perform specific public functions, essentially giving them the legal right to exist and act, right? Don't they frame mischief by law? Woe to them that frameth mischief by law. They write everything, every wickedness, everything that they've done over this since Greek to Rome to Babylon to Rome 2.0 here has always been by law. They write these things, right? But as if they are as if they can do that from a moral standing. But anyway, and perform specific public functions, blah, 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 essentially giving them legal rights to exist and act. It defines the scope of an agency's power, allowing them to issue detailed regulations like those in Code of Federal Regulations, to implement broad legislation mandates, ensuring actions are grounded in law. But when they make things ambiguous, you can always kind of pervert that. What sounds, to the layman, what sounds, off the dribble to the ear as something that may be of benefit or is good, it can do some good. In actuality, it is meant as a snare. It is just another trap laid, right? Let's go ahead and read the summary here. Provides statutory authority for the requirement that the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights take into consideration the International That Remembrance Alliance. And why? Let me put it to you like this. The truth is like a lion, and a lion needs no defense. Okay? If you put the truth out there, the truth defends itself. It does not need to be propped up. It does not need to be written into anything to force people to see it over and over. It does not need forced indoctrination. It does not need any of that. It does not need to be propagated or anything. You just put the truth out there, and in due time, it will come to hold, true. It will stand. Case in point, everything that has been preached, all of the things that were quote-unquote C theories are now, in time, have shown to be C truths, not theories. So we'll leave that at that, okay? Working definition of, so it's a working definition, meaning it can be, it's like it can be it can be molded to anything. It can fit any situation. You just gotta find a puzzle piece to put it in. If there isn't one, make one. Right? Let's be sure. Let's see what a working definition means. All right, having paid and put. Oh shit. I didn't put the proper context. How about that? Function or able to function. Okay, I don't think I'm putting the context correct. I know what I'm thinking in my head. I just don't know how to articulate what I'm trying to say let's see, in functioning or able to function, parts, blah, 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 of a theory. Maybe this is it, of a theory, definition, or title used as a basis for work or argument and likely to be developed, adapted, or improved later. There you go. That's your working day. That's what we're looking for. Here is the proper context. It's almost like when you incorporate, when you have a living document and you just continue to add to it, like, if there's some sort of, as a, what do you call it? Instruction manuals, standard operating procedures like SOPs. SOPs can be living documents because they have to be adapted when situations change, right? Anyway, let's keep going. When reviewing or investigating complaints of discrimination based on race, color, or national origins in programs or activities that receive federal finance assistance according to that thing, that organization. Working definition is a certain perception of an identity thief, which may be expressed as hatred. So, but you see, over time, or else not over time, really. In the past, every time somebody will call out something that they deliberately did, that they know is true, that everyone can see, the first thing they ask, well, are you anti? Hmm? Right? Like, so let's give a hypothetical scenario. Let's say a group A stole a bike from group B, from a kid in group B, and then the village of group B is like, hey, that kid from group A stole the kid's bike, and then the people from group A are like, well, are you anti? And then group B sitting there dumbfounded because it's like, what does that have to do with anything, man? Like, you have my bike. You see, and I'm hoping, I gotta speak. I gotta speak the way I speak. Okay, we gotta speak the way we speak because this one's kind of touchy. All right, so that's the summary there. Let's see, can we get some extras? Let's see. 119 to provide the consideration for definition. And why is this even like what does this have to do with sovereign America, right? Off the back of the actual people, the anti or the discrimination things like that is off the back of the real people, right? The so-called black and brown. Okay, in the Senate of the United States. Let's see if these for himself and Mrs. Rosen. Look at that name. I think that's one too. Look at that name. Interesting. I say you should go look up these and see, we'll see, I wonder what's on their passport. I wonder what's like, what does it say? Like, what kind of passport do they have? Anyway, to provide consideration of a definition, right, which we already read. Look at that. So we'll replace this word with being held accountable for actions, right? It is holding people accountable is on the rise. Like, no, you can't even you can't say anything. You can't tell the truth about anything. You just have to shut up and agree. What is it? Impacting K through 12 schools, colleges, and universities. And I say it all the time, ad infinitum. When you want to affect change, you go to the children and you go to the educational institutions. The educational institutions need the money, so they will implement what they need to implement for funding. Also, you mold the minds of the children. If the child grows up knowing only one thing and not the other, then they will in turn um, implement like a self-perpetuating cycle, right? And which is what happened um, in the Greek captivity. Which, when you go and you read, in the Apocrypha, the Book of Maccabees, when they were not allowed to circumcise their children, they were not allowed to do anything pertaining to uh, um, uh, what made an Israelite, what made them set apart, right? Because Deuteronomy 7:6 tells you that we were people, we were supposed to be set apart, and the Lord gave us a collection of laws, statutes, and commandments and customs to follow. And if the punishment for not following those things was to be cut off, and what they did was they went for the children, and then generation after generation after generation, growing up thinking that they were Greek, not knowing by blood who they actually were. That's how you have the issue of bringing in the Gentiles into the fold, bringing the what would be considered by the circumcision as defiling the temple or bringing unclean people into the temple, which so that's why they wanted Paul so bad. That's why they want to get rid of Yahushua so bad, not knowing that that was the plan in the first place, right? Let's keep going here. What do we get? Okay, the international, yeah. Working definition is a vital tool which helps individuals understand and identify the various manifestations. Look at all that. Who would have thought that there were so many ways to be that? And it's ever evolving. Ever evolving. Let's see, December 11, 2019. Okay, extended protections against discrimination under the Civil Rights Act. You see, it has always been on the back of Jake. Jake does the dirty work, and others reap the benefits, while Jake still is in squalor and in the dirt, right? And they did that's and it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder why the civil rights, this whole movement, even existed in the first place. Was that the end goal, right? And I'm just trying to spark a little thought. With all these orchestrated events that happen, like the bus thing and the I don't know, because you can't put it past them to enact certain things and then capture the minds and the hearts of the people, and then they're on board with signing in to act, because you don't want this thing that happened that we made happen on the cool, but don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. It happened, right? Stick to the narrative. Shut up. And then you get a bill that's passed, and then off that passed bill, you just continue to add things. All right, add unnecessary things. If you're understanding of what I am saying, okay, and this is really it. We'll stop it there. You can look through this, read it on your own, but this was just something that I wanted to bring out. Hopefully you were edified, and just know, right, the accuser of our brethren in due time will be cast down. But in the meantime, it's gonna be real sticky. It's gonna be real ugly. And Jacob's trouble is certainly underway. So with that being said, shalom.